शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Vishnu Sahasranama, please read the verse 56.
रामो विरजो मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरः शक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठो धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः रामो विरजो मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरः शक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठो धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः
Ramah. You're familiar with the name Rama, but the meaning is specific. The one in whom the yogis, the jnanis, the rebels. So, Ramante asmin iti Rama. Ramante asmin Rame. In this Rama. And who is that Rama? Nityananda Lakshana. Rama, who is always what? Ananda Swarupa. You may ask, we have read Ramayana, and Rama was weeping for Sita, etc. All this. That was a drama. He is always Ananda Swarupa. But Avatara Karya was there, that he has to enact a human being, ideal human being. So actually speaking, when he was searching for Sita in the forest, etc. In fact, he was asking every tree, every creeper, have you seen Sita? And he was weeping. When he was nearing Kishkinda, Narada happened to be there. And Narada knew who he is. He said, Bhagavan, what is this? You are weeping. Rama smiled. Would you like to see my real me? It was only a role being played by him. He is always Ananda Swarupa. So, Yoginaha, Jnanaha, Ramante Asmin. They, whatever, they revel in him because he is Ananda Swarupa. And Ananda Swarupa means nothing but Brahma Swarupa. So that is what Rama. Also, in Padma Purana it is said, one of his own will has taken a beautiful form as the son of Dasharatha. Seems Rama was very beautiful to look at. Even they say, suppose you are seeing his eyes, your eyes get glued to his eyes. You are seeing his nose. Such beautiful, everything was so beautiful. Rama, that was the beauty of Rama. And of course, you know how high, what was this height? Around 21, 22 feet. If Rama were to come here and stand in front of us, we'll get disillusioned. 21, 22 feet. And he is Vedic ring had this much of diameter. We see how thick was the finger. So the Rama, the one with nothing but Ananda Swarupa, of course, is Dharma incarnate as far as the conduct is concerned as an ideal human being. And he was a Rama. Viramaha, the one who is Virama, the final goal, final resort for everyone. What is the final result? What would you like to have in life? Having gained which, we can say very safely, very clearly, thus far, no further. I don't want anything more. I don't want anything else. What it can be. Whatever it may be, it should be these, it should fulfill these three conditions. It should be always limitless happiness. And that always means what? It should not have an end. It should not have any destruction. Death should not do that. And always means it's ever existent. Birth also is not there. Then not sufficient. It should be totally free from even the least trace of sorrow. If you have discovered the entity which has no birth, no death, therefore no destruction, no change, and no change means no sorrow, and that is what it is, nothing but limitless happiness. At the same time, it is independent of everything, not depend on anything. That means it must be by itself a self-knowing principle, a self-experiencing principle, and such thing alone can be independent. Otherwise, to experience that, to know such entity, you have to depend on some knowledge principle, some experience principle. No, itself so. Come on, find out what it can be. Even from our present limited knowledge, just scrutinize your experiences of 24 hours. That's sample analysis. 24 hours. Means roughly, you have to take into account your waking state experiences, dream state experiences, and deep state experiences. 24. Right? In this, consider your body, physical body. Does it fit in what you want? No. Why? It has got birth, it has got death, and it is source of sorrows. Gross body. out, and sorrows are there in the waking state. Okay. Go to dream body, means subtle body, the mind. They are also beginning, end is there, changes are there, sorrows are there. In between, some happiness may be there, but it also is not possible. In sleep, happiness is there, but I don't know anything at all. Everything is stupor. There may not be sorrows, but I'm not aware of it, nor I'm aware of myself. That also is not the solution. In these three states, is there an entity which can fulfill our requirements? Yes. In this waking, dream, and this state, there is one common denominator, that is Chaitanya Tattva, your consciousness principle, your awareness principle. It was not born before me awakening, it was there. After all these three states, it is continues to be there. In and through, it is there because it makes us experience, makes us know all that happens in the three states of consciousness. And yet, what happens in one state gets negated in the other state. The other things come and go, but this constant means at least to this extent, 24 hours, it is all the time there. And it is what? There is no sorrow when the gross and subtle body is there. In the deep state, there is a state where there is no sorrow. At the same time, happiness is there, which we recollect afterwards. Fine. Now, this is there. But the ignorance creates a problem. One thing from the deep sleep state we can infer, it is on the Sarupa. One more thing, see, in the waking and in the dream state, either we have got gross body in the waking state, physical body, or mental subtle body in the dream state. Both are prone to be sorrowful. Sorrows are intrinsic features of gross and subtle body. In the waking state, sorrows on account of disease, etc., are the gross body. Hunger, thirst, pranas, mental afflictions. In the dream, physical afflictions are not there because you are not aware of the body, physical body. But mental afflictions are there. In sleep, no mental affliction because no mind is functioning there. And there is happiness. So one thing, deep state gives a clue, it should be happiness. Other thing, in the waking and the dream state, in spite of, mark it properly, in these two states, in spite of our physical body and the mind subtle body being the source of sorrow, and yet we love that entity called I. Tell me, will you at any time love something which is a source of sorrow? In the waking, I is there or not? Yes. In the dream, this broad body gets negated, still I is there. In sleep, I is there. This I is in all. In sleep, he says Ananda is there. But in waking and the dream, in spite of the presence of the gross body and the subtle body, which are the sources of sorrow. And when we say subtle body, hunger, thirst come. The cyclic hunger and thirst, You have to attend. You can't sidetrack them. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive. In spite of the sources of sorrow, that entity called I will love, that shows that entity I exclusively have taken must necessarily be happiness principle. Just as if you bite a chocolate with the silver paper wrapper, in spite of the bitterness of the silver paper, sweetness is there. Sweetness on account of what? Sweet chocolate. Not because of silver paper. Like that, in the waking and the dream, though these bodies are nothing but source of sorrow are there, yet I love myself because, and when I love myself, it should be the happiness principle. So that way, to some extent, we can try to understand by reasoning that the Chaitanya I, which is what they were Bhagavad Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, Parameshwar Tattva, the God principle, should necessarily be happiness principle. But one thing, we are not establishing on this reasoning, but we are making use of reasoning to understand better and to get convinced what is told by Shruti that Chaitanya Rupa Atma and Paramanda Swarupa is correct. Just to get convinced ourselves. Otherwise, the true pramana, the true means of knowledge, to know ourselves is Shruti only, Upanishad only. But we do take help of reasoning to get convinced of few facts or establish few things. So from that standpoint, is nothing but what? Ananda Sarupa and is Virama. Virama, the final abode, the final goal of who? Everyone. They may not know Atma. They may not accept Bhagavan. Yet, everyone, not simply human beings, every living creature seeks ever existing happiness, no sorrow at all. Therefore, that is the final goal, final abode, final resort sought by each and every one, though this may not be very clear to them, because the mind is so preoccupied in the world to get what I want, get away from what I don't want. It has no either leisure nor capacity to investigate this and discover it. So virama avasana. That is, and this is what moksha. In moksha, one discusses this, the abode of peace, happiness, which has no waxing and waning, which has no birth and death, which has no trace of sorrow, which is independent of everything, ever existent principle. Virataha, the one in whom rati is not there. Rati means raga, preeti, love for sense pleasures. Love for sense pleasures. So, that is vigatam bratamasya. Is raga, preeti for what? Vishaya seva. for sense pleasure. One who doesn't have that, who can have this? Who can be the one who has no love, preeti for sense pleasure, for Vishaya Bhoga? Why do you hanker for Vishaya Bhoga, sense pleasure? You want to some happiness, is it not? We have to some. You are not, because you are not satisfied whether you get, you want more. If you discover limitless happiness, you will be interested in this. Even temporarily. Suppose you had a sumptuous meal, and when you were at home, nobody knew it. And when you returned, you said, I don't want dinner. Then you told this what happened. Will you be interested in the food? Daily food, regular food? No. There, after again, hunger may come, a different thing. Here, once you discover the Paramananda Swarupa, where is the hankering for? Where is the passion? Where is the love for? Paltry joys of sense pleasure, getting here and there, and for that sense pleasure, you have to pay. Pay what? Sorrow. Yat tadagre amrutopamam. Pariname Vishaviva. Krishna says, we adore him, we worship him, we praise him, but we don't care to understand and follow what is said. Who is at loss? Krishna. Is that? You say, you will not say, you are my karma, you are your karma, you will say. I have done what needs to be done. He has taken this embodiment of so-called avatar specifically for this purpose to make us know this. And he has taken embodiment such that from childhood onwards, he has to fight for his survival. You know? How many attempts were made to kill him in the childhood itself? And he has to fight for them. All for whose sake? Loka Sangrana. For the good of humanity. Dharma samsthapana, adharma destruction. He took that. At that same time, he gave this knowledge over the shoulders of Arjuna to the posterity. It was also done, but not so elaborately. So that way the gate is what virataha, so one is free from any hankering for sense pleasure. Earlier, Rama had taught to Lakshmana what is called a Rama Gita, about I think 70 or 80 verses are there. But there, Rama also had taught to Hanuman, which is well known in the Upanishad as Muktiko Upanishad. Muktiko Upanishad. In fact, all prominent Upanishads are mentioned there along with that. What is it? Veda and the Shanti part. And he says that to gain this knowledge, only one Upanishad is enough. And what is the Upanishad? Mandukya Upanishad. This one Upanishad is enough to know what your Swarupa is. And because of your unpreparedness of the mind, if Mandukya Upanishad doesn't work for you, then you have to go on studying other Upanishads. And in fact, if you see Rama Gita, teaching Lakshmana, is so prominently highlighted the meditation called Panchikarana Dhyana. Panchikarana Dhyana is totally based on Mandukya Upanishad. It reveals to you by step, withdrawing your mind from the gross world, gross body, from the mind, from ignorance, the final Chaitanya Swarupa. So that is what Swarupa everyone. And if it doesn't work, you have to take to other Upanishads. So that's how Krishna also tells the same thing. But we tend to neglect because our interest in the Vishaya is so deep because we have not developed proper Vairagya and Viveka and Vairagya. See, otherwise, Vedanta is a subject which is very absorbing. If you overcome the initial obstructions or resistance, Vedanta becomes a very, very interesting. But when it comes to Vairagya, सब उड़ जाता है. In spite of study, even study, in spite of teaching, in spite of your reveling in it, the pull for Vishaya from Paisa onwards, all Vedanta भाग जाता है. That is where until you think that this thing from the world will make me happy, you are bound. You are totally bound because you know not what the truth is. And such mind cannot withdraw itself from its preoccupation in the Jagat, the sense object. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And without that withdrawal, it is just impossible to be aware of a true nature. Yoga Vasha said very clearly, see, so long as you see the Drishya Jagat, you are aware of Drishya Jagat, you are experiencing Drishya Jagat, even to the least extent, not everything, you are deprived of your Swarupa cognition. So important that dhyana here only is there. Meditation is here only. Because true meditation is, you know what is that? I think last class I told you. According to Skandopanishad, Nirvishayam Manaha Dhyanam. You cannot get better definition for dhyana meditation. True meditation, the highest meditation is the mind which is nirvishaya, where cognitions of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha are not there. You may see that the Swami is taking Hayahati, but very difficult, yes. But if you don't know the fundamental, the basis, what knowledge you are going to get? So long as mind has got even only one single impression of any Vishaya, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha that gets attributed, superimposed on Chaitanya, and you take that Chaitanya to be endowed with this. Chaitanya is free from all this. So the moment you make the mind Nirvishaya, you need not do anything to gain knowledge. It gets displayed, of course. Earlier, self-inquiry, Atma Vichara, instead of Shravana necessary. Otherwise, what will happen? Oh, I got such a very ennobling experience. Who got? I got. Which I? Identity of the body. Go on. First, to know that you can never be the body. You are the entity distinct from body, aware of the body. That's why Shravana is necessary. And thereafterwards, make the mind free from this. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says that Dhyana Yoga, 6th chapter, make the mind so absorbed in that. And Arjuna shoots the question, our question was, Bhagavan, this mind is very unruly. It can't be controlled. Bhagavan does accept. But he says it is possible. By what? Abhyasa the Kaunteya Vairagya. Arjuna, what you said is totally correct. It is impossible to control the mind. And yet, it can be certainly controlled by Vairagya, disinterested in the Vishaya, by knowing they don't have the capacity to give the happiness you want. Not sufficient. Abhyasa. The mind from beginning of time, either to was running after the sense Vishaya, sense object. Overnight, it can't get rid of that. So therefore, what is Vedanta? That mind also needs to be trained, and it's this habit of running after sense object should be cut. For that, abhyasa, what is abhyasa? Repetition. Bhagavan Krishna has not told what a repetition is, but repetition is repetitions of the techniques wherein by your deliberate effort you withdraw the mind from the sense object and fix it in the Swarupa. See, in our mind, many thoughts come. Some thoughts I told you I don't want them. You want to get rid of them, but not possible. What you do? Replace those unwanted thoughts with the better thoughts, noble thoughts. Thoughts are there, but they have been out. And afterwards, you grow out of these noble, good thoughts also. So, if presently the mind preoccupied in the sense objects is difficult to control, never mind. Give certain preoccupation. And these preoccupations can be given by different techniques, methods given in the Shastra itself. For example, Mandukya, Avasthatraya Sakshi. You take this repeatedly. The Vaishpradnya, Antapradnya, Apradnya, all these common factor. Or Driktasha Viveka, Panchikarana, Panchakosha Viveka. Many techniques are there. If nothing, take to Japa. Japa not for the fulfillment of desires, etc. And that Japa you what? Exploit for Atma Chintana. How come? In Japa, you try to strike that particular place where Atma is there. Can you tell me where this Atma is while doing japa? Forget japa. You are thinking. How many thoughts come in your mind? Innumerable. Never mind. But these thoughts come in succession. One comes, ends, next begins, third, fourth, like that. But between two thoughts, there is a gap, however infinitesimal short it may be, or many microsecond it may be, but there is a gap wherein there is no thought. Earlier thought ended, next thought is yet to this thing. For practical purpose, is the next flow, and yet there is a gap. That you can try to encash through japa. How? This is not a japa where no, you have to do so many malas, etc., etc. That's a different thing. Now, for example, Om Namah Shivaya. See, you have given a specific preoccupation to the mind which runs into thousands of things. Only the sound Om Namah Shivaya. Next, mind the thing again. Om Namah Shivaya. Next, Om Namah Shivaya. In the beginning, other thoughts may come because you are not habituated. The practice, you are giving only one thought to your mind. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Tell me, what is between two Om Namah Shivaya? Is it not silence? Silence means at that time there is no thought. What gets revealed? There is Chaitanya, Atma Swarupa. It needs practice. So, in such this thing, you take the nama, what is that mantra, and be specific to be aware of silence activity. First, what will happen? Mantra Om Namah Shivaya, silence. Om Namah Shivaya, silence. But if you develop that knack by habit, by repeated practice of focusing your attention on that silence, then what happens? Silence, mantra came, Om Namah Shivaya. Silence, Om Namah Shivaya. Silence, Om Namah Shivaya. Your mind gets more preoccupied with the silence. That is what you have to develop. A mind which enjoys Shanti, silence. There is our Swarupa gets revealed. This is very beautifully explained with the help of Rasa Leela, Rasa Krida, Krishna and the Gopis. Many critics, not knowing what Rasa Leela is, they think that disco dance. One thing, at the time of Rasa Leela, Krishna was about just 6 years or so. And gopis are elderly. Actually, gopis are such that truly they were not so much in for Krishna, the body. But the presence of Krishna was triggering off. There is the Swarupa. Krishna was a nimitta only. So, suppose you are a spectator. Ras Leela is going on. And I hope you know, during Ras Leela, each gopi had a full Krishna, entire Krishna. Not that one Krishna, not jumping from here and there. No, that's what happened afterward. Ras Leela was over. This was it. Then Krishna was with me. Krishna was with me. Krishna. They didn't know. They thought that Krishna is only with me, only, everyone. So that was Krishna. Suppose you are seeing Angana, Angana, Antare, Madhava. One gopi, other gopi, in between Madhava, Krishna. Why? Your mind is focused on Angana, gopi. Angana means a lady. But if you slowly shift it on Krishna, Madhava, Madhava, Antare, Angana. Madhava, Krishna, Madhava, Krishna, in between who? Gopi. So, in Japa also, mantra, mantra, between silence. When you develop knack, silence, silence between mantra. Slowly develop that knack of exposing yourself on this silence. And that mind which in course of time develops practice, because abhyasa, practice required, it can easily switch on itself to the Swarupa. And the earlier habit of gravitating on Vishaya sense object can be removed. And don't think Vishaya is what my paisa, paisa is. Nahi, sab kuch hai. It will be a small thing. You may think what is great of this. And Satvik also. He is capable of trapping you. Everyone knows the story of Jada Bharata. No? Bharata, emperor. See how you are great at enjoying. Sacrifice the empire, not already sacrifice. And you know the circumstance. Got hooked to a deer cub. Was born as again deer and Jadabharta, etc. You know that. So it may be insignificant. You may think, what a big thing. Enough to catch it. So you should first determine your priorities in life. Of course, to begin with, discharge your duties. But remember one thing, having been born as human being, my dear sir, madam, you have a duty for yourself also. And this duty for yourself, it can be discharged, it can be fulfilled only in human embodiment. Having been born as human being, don't tell the reasons or try to justify your cause. So long as your mind is focused on even small things, foul. So all attempts of Vedanta is what? Still in abeyance. It will get carried forward, that's fine. But why should you? Why can't you end the game right now here? Why wait for another 9 months in the mother's womb? Childhood, total dependence. And again, prarabdha, 1,000 things will be there odd. So be practical. That's why developing viveka, vairagya, Even see, you have to withdraw from small thing. Appear to be for good of all. Something sattvic. Enough you have done. But now do something for you also. So that way, he is who Bhagavan is Virataha. Virataha means who has no rati for anything. And why it is indispensable to gain the knowledge of ourselves, because so long as rati, love, value for sense object, our sattvic, it may not be for you, it may be for others. Still you are hooked. So that way, be aware of your responsibility. If you mean what you want to gain it very seriously. So that virataha, passionless. Margaha. Now, three words come here, very interesting thing. Margaha, neyaha, nayaha. Then anaya comes afterwards. Margaha. Marga means way, route. The route. Route for what? To go to a 5-star hotel? For moksha. The path, the course of means one has to take to gain. Moksha means abidance in our true nature, Atma Swarupa, Brahma Swarupa. So, by Samyak Jnana, right knowledge, the right knowledge about me, the individual entity, I, right knowledge of the Jagat, right knowledge of Ishvara who created the Jagat. The true nature of all these three is one and the same Chaitanya Swarupa called Paramatma. Is Ananda Swarupa, free from birth, death, free from upadhi, free from sorrows. So for which path is what? Samyak Jnana. And it's a tested path. So you have to know in the Hindi, there is a saying, Lakir ke fakir. What is Lakir? Lakir is beaten track. A fakir, a wandering monk, will always see the beaten track. You know, people have gone from here. You lead somewhere. You hear nothing, nowhere to go but somewhere else. So Lakir ke fakir. And what is fakir? They say, fakir must be the one who has no fikir. You know what is fikir? Concern, worry, anxiety is not. He should be the one who always reverses in one swarup. He may not know when he's going to get the next meal. मिलेगा कि नहीं पता, वो भी पता नहीं है. Very what? Bindas. Carefree. He knows. One who's got the body, this was younger and thirsty, will provide. In Kannada, there is one saying, ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸಿದ ದೇವರು ಹುಲ್ಲು ಮೇಯಿಸುವರೆ. The Bhagavan, he has given you the body. Will he make you graze the grass, eat the grass? You are a human being. He will provide, but not your expectation possibly, but for sustenance of the body, he will provide. And that also is more in India, Bharat, is part of this thing. I think in the history of mumukshus, there is no single incident here that a mumukshu, a sannyasi or anyone, brahmachari, died of starvation. It comes somewhere. I think I told you. This is a very interesting thing. In some class long back, I told. Swami Tapon Maharaj, guru of Swami Chinmayaji Maharaj, he was fond of wandering in the Himalayas. He was called a wandering monk in the Himalayas. Always. But he was one Atmachintana. One day, and he used one thing, he was never used to carry the money. Because there are dacoits are there. One day it happened, it is already sunset nearing. खाने को कुछ नहीं मिला. And now it is now sun is setting. Nowhere around any habitation. No hut is ever going to ask for bhiksha. He just smiled inside. In himself. Let me see how Narayana is going to feed me today, or he is going to keep me hungry. Suddenly, he heard the galloping of the horses. Somebody is advancing. It's the dacoit. Stop! Because they know these people have got money. Stop! He stopped. Raise your hands up. And he saw, because they are cold, no, they have to wear woolen overcoat, etc. सब कुछ भी नहीं है. He was not carrying it. You know that what Descartes said? महाराज, आज आपकी खाने की व्यवस्था क्या है? Where are you to eat? You know what he did? His hideout was nearby. आइए. He went to his hideout. रोटी किया, महाराज को दिया, खुद भी खाया. This is how Narayana takes care. That doesn't mean that he will cater to your palates, okay? आपको रसगुल्ला ही चाहिए, आइसक्रीम ही चाहिए, वो नहीं मिलेगा. But for sustenance, he will certainly give. Yogakshem, it's also another part, besides having a tribe type of gurus, etc., facilities, etc. So that will be the case. So Lakir ke Fakir, beaten track, he takes care. So that's what is the track? Samyak Jnana. Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya. There is no other route, path than Atma Jnana, Swarupa Jnana, which is Brahma Jnana, Bhagavad Jnana. That is what Margaha. Next two words are interesting. Neyaha, Nayaha. Neya means one who is led, sadhaka. Nayaha means one who leads, Guru, Paramatma. Same Bhagavan only. Bhagavan is the root. Bhagavan is the one, the mumukshu who is wanting, jiva who is mumukshu who is wanting to get to knowledge and get freed. And whether Guru or whoever may be the one guide, also is Bhagavan. See, Bhagavan plays all the three roles. The path, knowledge, of course, bhakti, etc. means to this knowledge. Secondly, they have a role, but finally it is through knowledge only. So, path, one is led, moksha, Guru, Bhagavan, who leads. You may say Guru, but it's through Bhagavan only. That you got the right type of Guru. You are the grace of Bhagavan. You deserved it and you got it. So that's how. So that is Neyaha, and one with led, Nayaha. So that Nayaha, one who leads you. One who leads you. The Neya means one who is led by Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. Nayaha, the one who leads you, is what also Bhagavan only. Then, one more will do it. Anayaha. He, Bhagavan leads you, but Bhagavan doesn't have anyone who leads him. How come? He doesn't need it. Leading for what? He's always in Swarupa. See, we can't gauge, we can't understand the nature of Bhagavan, whose mind is always absorbed the Swarupa in spite of discharging whatever to be done by other avatar. We get carried away by what you see. His mind is in Swarupa. So therefore, and therefore, he doesn't need a leader. He doesn't need guru. See, there's the word anatha. Anatha means who has no anatha, master or guardian. Then the orphans are called anatha. But see, these devotees have got a bad habit. See, Bhagavan, I'm anatha. Please help me. It is like giving a slap on the face of Bhagavan. You know why? Bhagavan cares for you 24/7. He is the master. And what do you think? I know anatha. Suppose there's a father, very rich, who can do anything for the son. And if his son goes and tells the world, I am what? Orphan. How the father will feel? Here in this case, if you want really anatha, Bhagavan is anatha. Why? He has no master. This is what happened in the case of Kabira. A king sent full of palankis of gold, this, that, provisions, etc. A minister came here and said, are you the Kabir? Yes, sir. This our so-and-so king had told that Kabir is anatha. Give what did he say? Say that Kabir anatha. Look, take this all back. You go back all this, don't keep anything here. And tell your king that I am Sanatha. I have master who? Rama. But then Rama is Anatha. He has no master, give him all this. You understand what the meaning of Anatha and Sanatha, no? Sanatha means one got a master. We have Bhakta has got a master in Bhagavan. But Bhagavan has no master. So likewise here, we need leaders, gurus. Bhagavan doesn't need. Anaya. Anaya means one who has no neta. One who can lead on the path because he is what is the Swarupa. Okay, we'll continue.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।